Hello everyone, we're back again at the Food Revolution to show you behind the scenes. Come on over. And what I want to show you is how we're going to take the humble cauliflower, a simple fella, didn't have much to do in life, and how we're going to bring him to be a mega star. So cauliflower is one of those things, you know, for a vegetarian, sometimes we want to have bite in our food, we want to feel something, and I think that's the number one problem. There's no bite. So what we want to do is, cauliflower is this beautiful thing that if we give it the right love, the right caramelization, I think that we can get that bite. So what I'm going to show you is how we're going to pump this cauliflower up to the next level. Come on over. What you need basically is a cauliflower. You want to cut it at least more than 1 inch thick, because what's it going to do? If you don't cut it that big, it's going to break down. So the first step to this recipe is building the condiments. Cauliflower on its own is a transporter of flavor. So we need to put the flavor into him. So, or her, or whatever it is. Let me show you how we're going to do this right away. So what we're going to do is we're going to season the cauliflower. And to season the cauliflower, we've made a spice rub. And what goes into the spice rub? We call the spice rub a Bumba seasoning. Bumba one time. So it's got cumin, it's got fennel, it's got a little bit of chili powder, it's got all those beautiful things, a little bit of brown sugar, thyme, rosemary, marjoram. And what we're going to do is, when you make something, a pro tip, when you want to infuse, how is the cauliflower and the spice going to stick? It needs an agent, either butter, oil, or water. So in this case, we're going to use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And what we want to do is we want to form this into a paste. We want to make this into a paste, as you can see, and this paste is going to coat the cauliflower. We got to treat the cauliflower as a stick. We got to marinate. We got to let the spices get into the fibers of this cauliflower. So what I'm going to do, as you see, this paste is done. It's already combined with sugar, pepper. Remember, sugar is natural MSG. Salt is natural MSG. So you want to get the natural MSG flavor sitting in your cauliflower. So let's go here. We're going to marinate all the cauliflower, ensuring all the cavities of the cauliflower, the spice rub goes into the cauliflower, which is extremely important. We want to marinate the sides a bit. We want to do the front, the back of the cauliflower. Want to make sure there's enough spices that's going on it. And this spice rub, I feel I need to put a little bit more, because what we want to do, we want to get a crust. Cauliflower has no fat, so we rely on the oil and the spices to crust it, to give flavor. So vegetarian food can be very, very tasty, and we created this dish because we wanted vegetarians. You know, you go to a restaurant. What do you have, vegetarians? Oh, we have pasta, and we have a pizza, and we have maybe some rice. I mean, come on. How are we in the 21st century now? 20th century, yeah, 21st century. 21st century or 20th century? I forgot. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but things have changed so much that we need to make sure we get all this flavor on it. So what we're going to do, once you've marinated, you have this beautiful shine all over. Don't be shy, use your hands, get in there, and make sure all this goes into the cavity of the cauliflower. So on a hot pan, what you want to do, while it's cooking, you want to put a bit of oil, a little bit of oil, put it on a medium-high heat, and we want to get that crust. So there's two ways you can do it. You can do it in the pan for about 4 minutes aside, or in the oven, really hot oven, to crust it and get it all there, maybe about 10 minutes at about 250 degrees. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this beautiful cauliflower, is going to rest in the pan while I build its condiments. So let it get inside there. Can you hear that sizzle? Can you hear that sizzle? Can you see that sizzling happening there? That is what you want to see. If you don't see that, look at the sizzle. If you don't see that, you don't want to continue, because it needs to have sizzle. Sizzle is extremely important. So right now, what we're going to do, Victor, you can come over here. We're going to make the condiments for this cauliflower dish. And the condiments, we're going to use these beautiful mushrooms. We're using shiitake mushrooms. And shiitake mushrooms are really nice mushroom. You just want to quarter these mushrooms because mushroom gives you the natural umami flavor, the savoriness. It's going to give you that savoriness, all that goodness that's going to come in. And another umami bomb that we make here at one of our restaurants, Manja, is the beautiful teriyaki glaze. This teriyaki glaze, look at the glaze. It's glistening without any MSG inside. We use the best soy. And what we're going to do to make friends with the taste, we're going to use a little bit of butter. And this combination of these two is going to be so fantastic. The butter is going to mellow out the teriyaki and it's going to come to life. So while you marinate this, you want to check on your steak, cauliflower steak, to make sure everything goes well. And remember what I said, if you're watching carefully, what do we need? What do we need? What's the most important ingredient out there? Tell me. Salt. So we're going to add salt to this. We're going to get a bit of pepper, and we're going to go and want to check on our cauliflower steak. What's happening here? Is it doing well? Is it caramelizing? Let's see. Make sure the oil is distributed evenly. Make sure the oil is distributed evenly. So we're going to flip it over to see if the pan has did its job or not. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'm relatively happy with that. I'm relatively happy with that. So we let that sit in the oil, let it caramelize some more. So what I'm going to do now, we're just going to flip it back around, make sure the color sits nicely. And now what we're going to do, we're going to cook this down. So I'm going to get another pan and I'm going to cook this down. So we've got another pan on, and what we're going to do, we're going to add a little bit of oil. And when we add this oil, remember this mixture that we're going to do? This mixture is going to go in here, right here, because all that flavor is here. So we're going to put that down and we're going to let it slowly. It doesn't have to be on high heat straight away, but what's important is getting this really nice and letting the sizzle come into play, because we're about to get that down. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it there, let the sizzle come. As you can see, all that sizzle, that amazing sizzle. And a hot pan, you need the sizzle. No sizzle, we cannot go forward at all. So can you see? That's coming. We want to caramelize the mushroom to make sure the mushroom cooks properly. And this is the basis of the dish. Remember, shiitake is such an amazing mushroom. It gives you that meaty flavor. And combined with teriyaki, it's going to make it more interesting to have again and again and again. So we don't want to overcook mushroom. People cook the water out of the mushroom. Mushrooms have so much water content, and you want the juice within it. Sometimes, just imagine if you cook mushrooms 10 minutes, do it 5 minutes. Cut it by half so you get that wonderful flavor and aroma. So while that's cooking, caramelizing, the sugars are caramelizing, it's happening. We're going to start soon. We're going to put this in a bowl and get ready to start building this dish. All right? So it's almost done. I want it to still be juicy. So what's important is I'm going to take this out, right? All that flavor that is building up like that, I'm going to remove it from the fire and I'm going to be putting it here. I don't want the excess oil, I just want that caramelized thing. So what I'm going to do now, I put this one back on the pan and I'm going to let this continue to cook. While that continues to cook, I'm going to build the garnishes. So the garnishes that I'm going to build for this is going to be a bit of avocado. Avocado is going to be the base of this, with the mushroom, with the garlic puree, that is going to be so fantastic. So if you can pan down to here, over here, Victor, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. See the ring mold down there? We're going to scoop the avocado out like that and just use the back of a spoon to do it. Just use the back of the spoon to do it. And we're going to build the base. This is something I love doing. Building the base is really important, to get the base right, because once you get the base right, it just gives you that natural creaminess that you want. you want to have that natural creaminess, which is going to be so exciting. So after you put this on, what we're going to do, we're going to spoon the mushrooms over, which is really important that we do that. And here I'm going to spoon these mushrooms on. Can you look at that? I mean, you tell me, when you eat mushrooms, how do you like it done? If you look at it, do you like it to be cooked well, or do you like it to be juicy? And in this case, it's just juicy and nice. It doesn't need to be fully cooked all the time. So what we're going to do, we're going to just wipe down the plate. We're building this. We're going to apply a bit of pressure down here, and we're going to fill the cavities of this mushroom with garlic puree. So this is pureed garlic that we have right here, and this puree is going to go within. So I just want to tighten this here, wrap my finger around. It's a piping bag. This is roasted garlic, and I'm going to put it within the cavity. I'm going to put this beautiful, look at that. Can you imagine the amount of flavor that is going to go within this dish? And because I'm putting a relatively good amount of garlic, but because it's been roasted so well, it brings out the natural sweetness of it. Okay, so this dish, this garnish is almost done. What it's missing is a little bit of sea salt. Look at sea salt. This is a finishing salt. So we're going to add just a tiny bit of finishing salt, just to give that umami flavor and to give that kick. And look at the caramelization on this, baby. Look at that. Victor, can you see the caramelization? That is what I want. That is what I want. That equals to tons of flavor. That equals to tons of flavor. I'm going to slowly transport this guy. This has been cooking for about 8 to 10 minutes, and I'm going to put it in the center there. It's looking so gorgeous. It's looking so beautiful. We're coming to the final moments of this dish, and what we're going to fill the cavity of that is this beautiful romesco sauce. This romesco sauce is a Spanish sauce that is going to be made from roasted burnt red peppers, and we're going to fill the cavity of this humble cauliflower and transport it to another plane. And can you imagine, it's a nice little surprise. You put the thing in, I'm just piping it in the cavity like that. And when you pipe it in the cavity, that's gonna really uplift that. And then what I'm gonna do next is I'm taking local feta cheese. This is locally made here in Malaysia, and this feta cheese is made from buffalo milk, kampong buffalo milk, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to be putting it in and making sure, can you see the cauliflower lifting up from within? That's because all that flavor has gone in. And I just find the cavity and I put it in, and not too much, because you don't want to steal the limelight away from the star of the dish, which is the humble cauliflower. Now we're going to go for the finishing touches of this dish, and I want you to pan down for this. I want you to have a look at what we're going to do. We're going to basically treat this. Victor, if you can focus here, we're going to go with a little bit of sea salt, and we just want to bring out the natural flavor of the cauliflower. Thereafter, I'm going to add this beautiful nangka madu, which is a honey jackfruit, and it's nicely minced and lightly seasoned with coconut oil and a little bit of tamarind dressing, very lightly done. And thereafter, we're going to add a little bit of this garlic dust on top. That is going to come, and that's going to give you that crunch, that savoriness that you're going to expect from a dish like this. And then we're going to add this beautiful, I love spring onions and I love what they do, and we're just going to layer that around the top of the dish to really give that herbaceousness that the dish deserves ultimately. And now, I don't know, I get such a kick when I'm doing this, you know. I just get so excited that these thoughts and these things come into my mind, and I'm able to create this, and when people cut into it and try it, it just makes me so excited. So what I'm going to do now to finish this dish, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the plate here. I'm going to add a little bit of this dressing, which is a Tibetan pepper aioli, which is a beautiful dish that is a condiment to this dish. And to finish that Tibetan pepper aioli, I'm just going to add a little bit of the Tibetan pepper on top, which gives us a bit of a sour note, which is going to show so many contrasting flavors given to the humble cauliflower. I'm going to lift this up like that, and you see the layer of this dish, and you pair this teriyaki mushrooms with the garlic, avocado, the citrus dressing. Oh, I was so excited with the dish, I completely forgot one of the layers was to add this beautiful citrus dressing. But you know what? Cooking is not all about getting it right all the time, so just to drizzle on top. And there you go. There you go. We have the humble cauliflower that has been pumped full of love, full of thought. There's so many elements on this savoriness, the sweetness, the umaminess. I think this is an amazing dish. I can't wait for you to try it on your vegetarian friends, because it's gonna get so exciting, and challenge those meat eaters to try this dish, because I tell you, you're gonna be turning heads. See you soon. Signing out, Food Revolution, Navin Karu.